Oh my gosh. Jenn Alvin, the author, in the
Yes.
flesh.
It is so fabulous to see you, Kristin. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's so good to see you. Like, I don't know when it happened. And I know I recently started stalking you on like social media more because of the book
Uh-huh.
launch. Can't wait to talk about it. But you just seem like a whole nother being. You're like thriving and happy and like tell us all the things. Tell us about you. So, hi, I'm Kristin Gutierrez. I'm the host of Crazy Live, where basically I bring other people in to talk about their say yes moments.
Mhm.
And Jen's just amazing because I've known you, what, like a year and a half?
Yeah, something
And
like that.
all the things. Okay, so you tell us who you are, and then we're going to get into it because this is about to be exciting.
Yay! All right, so Jenn Alvin, I am a tech geek. I am a creative badass, and I am now the author of Stronger, Wiser, and Still Fabulous. Yeah, yeah. I am so happy about this book. I am so proud of it. I love that it's like so I'm taking so many of my skills from like not just my last 20 years in tech, where you have to learn how to work with people and make things keep moving. I started my life as a as a creative. It's like doing design, being an artist, and I love that. Like bringing all of my life experiences together, plus my creative background, it all like, oh, I'm going to do a book. And actually, this will probably get me to a little bit of my say yes moment, as well as, Kristin, you are such a badass. I am so grateful to have you in my life. So I went to one of your webinars. It was the one about, yes, you too can write a book. I may be missing the exact title,
That was
but
Q4 of 2023. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was it's one of those things where I had in the back of my mind, it's like, yeah, I should do a book someday. That'd be kind of cool. And then I attended your workshop and you broke it down. It's like, okay, you can do this, 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 and that, and break it out like this and make sure your timelines are like that. I'm like, huh, I could actually do that. And I have a background in localization. I've been doing that for the last 10 years and I do love it. Loc is amazing. I don't know, it's a great space. And I was all ready to write a book about Loc and UX. And then I had this kind of freaky moment where there was an ice storm and my power was out and it's like 48 degrees in my house.
Wait, hold on, hold on.
Sure.
Wait, wait.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's me. Every time it's me. It's like it all of a sudden you're talking about Loc and it's in my ear. Yeah, like
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
you're talking
Sometimes
about
Loc can be a little traumatizing because, the industry and everything's kind of going a little bit crazy. Anyway, but in my house, ice storm, it's 48 degrees in my house because the power's been out for a day and a half. And I'm just thinking, what do I want to, like, maybe I will write a more personal story instead of writing about the technical aspects of Loc. And originally I'm thinking, okay, plucky princess, it's going to
I
be a cute
remember.
little golden book, but for women of my age, in my 40s. And then I pitched the idea to you. I'm like, Kristin, I've got this really crazy idea. And you pitched back like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Tell me more about this. And you helped me to kind of pick it apart.
Uh-huh.
And then after more, kind of workshopping with other people in my circle, it became less about, do I tell like a story, like a narrative, like a, Disney princess sort of thing, and more like, here, I want to create a book that I wish that my girlfriends had given me when my life started to fall apart. Because it's like maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe just before I met you, it's like my father was very, very sick. My relationship was ending. My career was kind of all over the place and financial. Anyway, all the shit show that happened. And I'm like, here, what's a book? What would I want to have? And some of the things that I have, like I've got a whole library of books over here. It's like, it's career development. It's, how do you make things, how do you build your life? How do you like affirmations and whatever? And then I've got a handful of well-intended coloring books that have been gifted to me where it's, am I allowed to curse on this? Does it matter?
Well, I would say no because we are live on LinkedIn. So
Okay. All
it
right.
depends. I mean, I don't care, but
Okay,
like
sure. I'll use creative,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah. And I want to also just break it up, right? Because you're on a freight train, you're heading somewhere, and I'm like,
yeah.
let's like stall it. We will get there. Can we back
Okay.
it up a little bit? Because I'm so curious. I know you, and I'm so
Yeah.
curious. And if
Mhm.
I'm curious, that means other people watching are curious.
Mhm.
So, I mean, okay, so this is a lot, right? So here
Yes.
you are. We're celebrating the launch of this book, and you're telling us why you launched it. And the
Mhm.
thing is, what I've seen though, and it's just it's like this entire 360 of like you in the best way. It's like an opening of something, right? Like where this book came out and maybe a little before that, but like, you're just like, now this is me. Like, this is me. Because I think so many of us write the book we wish we had. And
Right.
that's okay because we actually think it's too easy to do that. Like, it's like, well, it can't be that easy, right? Or somebody's already written that book, maybe. This book, I look at it like, you guys, look at how thick. Her book is legit thicker than mine.
And the pages are bigger.
And the pages are huge, right? It's amazing. And like, I just want to ask you some really like tactical questions, and then you can interweave your story.
Mhm.
Because your background is
Mhm.
in Loke. This is why we know each other. But like, you also said you're a tech geek, your words, not mine. But
Yeah.
like, where is it that your intersection of creativity? Because obviously, I know what's hiding behind you, and you've changed your office around a few times. Where's that were you using all your creativity at your day job, or is that just kind of tell us about you as a creative person, and then I'm going to say why, because I know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am the queen of reverse engineering things. So yeah, so an example, so a friend of mine saw on Pinterest, there was a Christmas tree skirt. And it was, a window mannequin that had, it's like a nice blouse. And then the skirt, it wasn't, like the one that you put under the tree, but it was actually the bottom half of a, Douglas fir.
Oh.
With all the branches and the other things. And she's like, I want that. I want to wear that for Christmas caroling this year. I'm like, okay, yep, we can do that. We can totally build that. I am that person. It's like, so we built her a Christmas tree skirt. We wound up going to a, discount store and got all the, the branches and figured out how to attach them to a skirt so they, kind of have depth. And it looked like she was wearing the bottom half of a Christmas tree. And like friends who want to build costume things, it's like, that's my brain is wired like that. I look at it, how do I build it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I should put my 6-year-old in an intensive with you, because the kid, he got mad at me this morning taking out the trash. He's like, Mom, what, where's my box? Like, why are you throwing the boxes in the recycle? And I was like, oh, okay, Gibson, because you might understand. My house is full of boxes. And he'll be like, I want to create this robot. And he literally, he can see it in his head. And he'll like, and I make him draw specifically on the cardboard where he wants me to cut out, because I'm like, and I know his brain doesn't like, he thinks I'm probably being like, oh, Gibby, like whatever. But my brain doesn't work like yours. You're an adult. Like, you can understand that rationale. I cannot see what he sees. And so the idea that you can see a Christmas tree skirt, and then just like it might take some investigating, it might take some thinking, it might take some trial and error, but all of a sudden you can like put it together. It's like a mega skill. Because then how were you using that in corporate, or were you not? Like, because I remember talking with you about like the reverse engineering concept.
The closest I can think of is, so we were using it was an enterprise level CMS, and we needed to house a whole bunch of language strings, just like the text strings. The engineering teams I was working with, they didn't want to build a whole separate system. So I kind of started doing a little bit poking around in the back of this enterprise level CMS. I'm like, how can we make this work for us? And I figured it out where it's like, oh, okay, well, if I log into this other thing, and then if I download the XLIF, then I can use a text editor to go and edit all of the strings and then re-upload it to the back end of the CMS. And that's my tech geek, brain looking at how do I, fix it, but then also my, kind of my creative mindset. It's like, you can't just tell me, no, we can't do this. It's like,
Yeah.
I will help you figure out a way. And this was really critical and really important for the team, because the way that everything was set up, we were serving, it was like 24 languages. And the way that it was set up, the content operations team had to author it twice, one for mobile and one for desktop, across, it was like 50 something markets. That's an awful lot of physical, or like that's a lot of operational overhead to go in and make the changes. And then on top of that, the interface that they built for the teams was slower than molasses in January. I actually took a desktop video of how long it took me to make changes to one. And I used that to kind of do a pitch to, like my engineering leaders, like, we got to fix this for them. But while we were waiting for them to figure that out, it's like, oh, well, I have this sneaky way where if I go into the back end of the CMS and we can do a workaround and make everyone's lives better.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the queen of reverse engineering. I love a good reverse engineer. So that happens to also be mega artistic, like it's like in your blood. Like you are like my grandmother, right? Like she loved. Did you go to craft fairs and stuff? Like, is it that serious? Like my grandma would like make stuff and go to craft fairs, right? So
yeah, I've done that. Yeah, I've done that before. I mean, I was doing that when I was in high school. I used to build this, crazy jewelry where it was like jigsaw puzzle pieces, and it was fun. I was also making vests. My mom and I had a business when I was in high school. I think it was called Ingenuity.
I love it.
I think I still have a business card for it someplace, because
you got to bring that.
I'm a pack rat. I keep everything.
Okay. It's so important because this stuff is so close to you. Like I just saw you on Instagram the other day. You made a dress, right? Like most of us aren't running around making dresses. Okay. So this is Jenn, folks. This
is a dress that I made. I designed. I did this.
Amazing. So oh yes.
And so the cool part of this is, the best part of this, it has real functional pockets. This is something that so much like women's clothing has really kind of shifted, where they actually are doing pockets. Slowly going away are the days of when you buy the pants, they have the false pockets that look, kind of cute, but there's no practical purpose to them at all.
I need a back pocket for my phone. Yeah. Now I'm wearing these Beyond Yoga like tight short things, and man, I wish I had gotten the pair that had the pocket in it, because okay, so this is Jenn, guys. And so let's talk about like the journey of the book. Before I get to the thing I just want to say, which is so incredible, but like it's all about you. Like the thing about you that is so incredible. Okay, so thank you for saying you attended this little masterclass I did in Q4 of 2023, and your book just launched. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, what, 5-6 months? Or you like put the pieces here. And never was a book really on your heart. Like, I don't know. It's what I heard. So correct me if I'm wrong. This book wasn't on my heart. It's not like I woke up. It's not like I grew up, oh, I'm going to be an author. Some people do, and that's totally cool. I literally woke up one day in February of 2023 and said I should write a book. Did you? I thought I heard the same. Did you always want to write a book, or were you kind of just looking for like, what could I do because of the ice storm and, everything else in your life?
Middle school me totally wanted to write books.
Oh, cool.
It's like, I wrote all these crazy stories, and I probably still have drafts. Okay, again, pack rat, archivist. I probably still have copies of the stories that I wrote, but recently writing a book just wasn't really on my radar. And then as I was going through all of these challenges, and then after going through your workshop, I'm like, this could be a thing. Creating the thing that I want to see in the world. There's the thing that I love to say. So like, if you're an engineer, if you want something to exist in the world, you just make it exist. This is what you do. And this is my engineering mind. I want a book so some of the things that I love about the book that I've designed is that it's a little bit of, a lot of things. It's someone, could be, making the list of their favorite curse words.
I know, I saw that part. Yeah.
On public, since we're on a public stream. But I like that it's a diverse selection of activity. So if people just feel like kind of zoning out and what I call self-soothing, they can work on a maze, they can work on a crossword puzzle, or if they're feeling like they want to be a little more in depth, it's like, here, who's in my corner no matter what? And they can kind of look through that. They could visualize it, they could write it. This is a book for women who color outside the lines. And this way they can kind of choose, how do I want to treat this? Maybe they just color and do designs, sketches on that. Oh, yeah. And this is my other favorite page, finding your no. Isn't it clever?
No,
you got to go through the maze and find your no.
The whole dang book is clever. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, the whole book is clever. I can see so many use cases for this book, and I want to talk about that. But taking everybody on a journey, you're like, I just want to tell everybody how amazing this book is. Okay, so you wrote the book. So then here you are, and then I know, like, at what point you went from Plucky Princess, which this is not at all, right? And at what point were you like? Because guys, like what she was just showing you, it's like a coloring. It's basically an adult coloring book, but let's not deduce it to that so simply. But at what point were you like this? Because I remember, and there's a point where I was like, oh, but I want to see if you don't go there so I can ask the question. But at what point were you like, I should make an activity book? Like, how did you come to that conclusion?
One of my dear friends who is an artist, she really challenged me on the Plucky Princess storytelling concept. She's like, those are stories that have been told, a million times over. How can you look at things differently? And I think she said something that really kind of triggered, like, oh, let's make it, kind of more of an activity book. I really believe that it's a market that's underserved. Like, okay, great. I'm a teenager. I can get books that are targeted towards me. I can, I'm a little kid. They have magazine subscriptions where I can be getting puzzles showing up, in my mailbox every month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But look, I'll say for myself specifically, my demographic, my age group, they're really, I've done the research. I did the book Cousins Looking as you suggested. And I just really didn't see anything out there like this.
Yeah.
Where it was kind of this mix of all the things. And so back to your original question, is as I started, researching and seeing what else was on the market and thinking about, okay, what could I build? It's like, okay. And originally, to your point, it was a kind of disparate all over, like all different kinds of puzzles. I had my spreadsheet that had all the different topics that I wanted to cover. And then for some of the topics, like, oh, well, I think this would make a good crossword puzzle. This would make a good drawing prompt. And I was just kind of doing a mapping on that. And then I had this chaos of different puzzles. I'm like, okay, there needs to be a narrative. There needs to be a story here. And that's when things really started to click into place, when I turned it into a narrative.
It's so good, Jen. It's so many pages. It is so many pages of awesomeness. Okay, now correct me if I'm wrong. This is where I'm heading. Did you design every single thing in this book?
Yes.
You guys, drop the phone. That, like, I remember, like, this is the moment why I needed to build the backstory, right? So that they could understand who Jenn Alvin really is. And like, obviously you're wearing your own clothes. You've got all these artistic, like, ingenuity things, right? That you and your mom did. You're reverse engineering, you're a tech geek, right? And you're a words. And yet you took the challenge of writing a book to a level that nobody, I mean, I'm just somebody, right? Like, my worldview is so small, but the fact that I'll never forget, you like messaged me and you said, oh, I'm having to brush up on my Adobe. What tool did you use?
Adobe Creative Suite.
Okay. I have to brush up on it. And I literally, like, so embarrassing. I'm going to say what I said. Do you remember?
Sure.
I was like,
not off my head. Refresh my memory, please.
I said, just look in Canva. Like, and just like, because there's so much free content there, right? Or like, GPT, like I never could have pictured the beauty that is this book. Like, and that's where I want people to appreciate, because they're not holding your book. I want to make sure on the bottom of all these links, make sure you text me the short way to access your book, and then go into all the, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Facebook in multiple groups, we're streaming on LinkedIn. If you were able to connect, I know you were having issues, we're streaming there too. Like, everyone needs to know how amazing this book is, but like, more importantly, that you built it, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did it come? Oh my, okay. Tell us about your Post-it notes. Tell us about you.
Oh, sure. Notes. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go, before we jump into Post-it notes, I do want to talk briefly about, puzzle design. So you mentioned Canva. There are a lot of utilities out on the web. Like, let's say that I want to build a generic low content book and just like sell it, on Amazon. It's like, here, pitching, throwing all the things out there. All of the tools, like whatever they output, are generic, or they weren't, easy to, okay, some of the software was just horrible, and this is where my software geek is just like really, really offended. Anyway, so I made a point of learning how to design a crossword puzzle in InDesign, because you have to know how to do the boxes and draw those things out. I had a very clear vision for what the style guide would be for the book. Like, I picked out specific fonts. I had my color libraries. I had all that together so that when I learned how to do the layout, say for, I don't want to give away the solutions, not that it matters. Anyway, but learning how to do the layouts for all the characters, or learning how to do the layouts for the Mad Libs, which I'm really proud of the Mad Libs.
You have Mad Libs in the book, Jen. Oh my God. If this doesn't touch every single one of our hearts, because to your point, there are, as you know, like adult coloring books. Like, that was a trend X number of years ago. And but your book there's a different point. I just looked at your website. So everybody, it's strongerwiserfabulous.com, because I think the link to just buy it, your book, is right there.
It is in there, yes.
So an activity book for resilient women who, as she said, then color outside the lines. And there's so many use cases, and I want to talk about that. But like, you have a Mad Lib in here. How fun was that to create? And how many Mad Libs are in here?
I want to say there's at least 5 or 6. That sounds about right. And it was fun. And this also goes back to the narrative. Like, 2 of the Mad Libs are writing a letter to money. Money is a tool. And one of the letters it's almost like an apology, where it's like, hey, money, sorry I haven't been as adjective to you as I could be, but I promise to verb, adjective or adverb better in the, however. So this way people can take the concept and put in their own words. And it was actually like, I would write a letter to myself, and then I'd start pulling out the nouns and the verbs and whatnot. And I just kind of make them into where someone else, they may have kind of a similar story to mine, but okay, maybe this needs to be a promotion where it's like, here, tell me what your Mad Lib looks like, once you fill it out, because I know what mine would look like, and I have no idea what yours would look like. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah. So like, hashtag, or where do we find you on LinkedIn? What's your Instagram? Where are you, like, where's the Jenn 2.0? This is my 2.0 version, if that's okay. So like, maybe it's your 2.0 version too. Like, where are you hanging out these days? Which social platform? So that when we do our Mad Libs, we can screenshot, tag you, post, story, whatever.
Yeah. Instagram is the place where I'm most active. I'm not on really any of the other channels outside of LinkedIn. I love telling stories on LinkedIn as well. And I have
LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yeah, I'll focus on the ones that are probably, I have 3 Instagram accounts that I, play around with, but yeah, so Stronger, Wiser, Fabulous, that's the most critical one, and that's the most relevant to the book. Okay. I also have an Instagram of Jenn Likes to Go Places. So any of my travel adventures and whatnot, those are all in that venue. But the other one that I have is Jenn Likes to Make Things, and that's my flagship. I like that one. Where any of the, the adventures that I have, it's like, oh, I'm going to do a needle punch with denim, or
all right. So the book is, because some people might not be all good. Yeah, Stronger, Wiser, Fabulous.
Yeah. So that's the website, and jennalvin.com is also the link to all the places.
Yeah, I'll never forget the day you sent me your website.
Mhm.
I had the same reaction. It's like, Jenn, it's so good. The way it's like, it's the artistic brain. It's all of your artistic influence. Like I say it's obvious, but it's not for me. Like complementary colors and whatnot, like not obvious, like no clue, right? In fact, my books clash pretty much, right? At this point, and I'm all good with that because I'm the done is better than perfect girl, you know? But your website, I'll never forget. And like the way you use your, let's go to sticky notes next, but just
Oh yeah.
are on your website, are you still doing like the black cutout? Is it like, anyway, just check your website out, you guys. It's so cool. Jenn, you're so artistic. Oh my gosh. And I love seeing that take place in this book that is now a really helpful resource. And so then to wrap up, I'm going to talk about like all these use cases that I see your book so that you can hopefully get your book into all these other hands. Like maybe it's going to be in a particular niche, but like maybe there's others. So sticky notes, what's up with the sticky notes?
I love sticky notes so much. What is off camera is I have an entire mirror filled with motivational sticky notes. It started like maybe circa 2017, 2018. I just started doing sticky notes to myself, just reminding myself, something, that's important. Usually, sticky like motivational quotes from women. One of my favorites is what you tell yourself on a daily basis matters, or, I'm doing my best and my best varies day by day. And I'm trying to balance the toxic positivity with, okay, what do I need to know for myself today? So it's doing that. I'm doing some of the sticky notes on LinkedIn as well, but it's been a great trend, and it's what I tell myself and what I've heard from other people. It's like, oh, thank you for that. It's like, I love hearing kind of the internal narrative of what's going on with you, and there are things that will resonate with other people. And I was absolutely ecstatic to put them into the book.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good, you guys. It's so good. It honestly, like, what's that? What is it?
Sticky notes, all the sticky notes.
Sticky notes. They're everywhere. And so it's a book for like practicality. Okay. Where I really see this, I know I messaged you ahead of time. I finally gave myself permission to step into the person that I always wanted to be, but I was kind of holding back from, right? And it's so funny. Like I had a call earlier with like a guy from corporate, just like laughing at myself because I'm like not corporate anymore at all. And I'm super good with that. And so I'm helping entrepreneurs almost exclusively now with whatever they're building their businesses, basically. And so many entrepreneurs in my circle happen to be women, not all. Okay. Because like men can use this book too. Like, let's just be honest, right? But I love the niche, right? So there are women who are holding workshops, like 2-3 day intensives, right? Filled with typically mostly women, not all, who then give away things at the workshop. Sometimes they brand their own hats or notebooks or pens. Sometimes they have, this is the workbook I got from my mentors, right? So it's like how to write the book for 2024 moving forward and strategies.
Yeah.
Like this, I could see you getting in the hands of these entrepreneurs to say, like building the relationship, like saying like, hey, this workbook, it's not, taking out like it's not like a cheesy color me mine or whatever that art studio is, right? And like those things, those places are cool. There's more to it. And like I see these workshops happening. There's one in Atlanta right now with my friend, and there was one last week in, I think, Louisiana. It's the world I live in. I was planning to do one maybe this fall. Like this workbook, people, do you see that for this like workbook? Like where would you love for this workbook to be? Or is that what we're calling it, a workbook, activity book?
I call it an activity book, just kind of harkening back to, it's like, here, what do your parents give you, when you're doing a road trip, cross country? It's like, here's something to play with. Here's something to keep yourself occupied. And I definitely can see it, being part of retreats. You're actually describing my lunch meeting today where, myself and a dear friend who is, anyway, dear friend, she's awesome. She, background as a publicist, and she's like, oh my gosh. And she gave me a whole bunch of ideas about, where I would do workshops and how it would fit in, and just gave me, I have like 3 pages. My other thing that's not sticky notes is I have the these books like all over the house.
Oh, I know.
I've got like 4 or 5 pages of notes on. Yep. I'm a digital girl, but I have to scribble.
No, I know.
Anyway, yeah, so lots of ideas. It's like, how do you build, it could be a retreat, it could be part of like a corporate thing. There's a lot of different directions that I could go with this.
Yeah. Well, right. That's the thing. You could monetize the book a million ways, and you could go off and do your own workshops. But I know, and then people could bring you in. Guys, if you're watching this, like say me in the chat, like you could bring Jenn in as a guest speaker, and your leave behind would be the workbook, the activity books. I also I don't know, I could see this at a girls' night, a mom's night even, and like some wine, like that would be fun. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite pages. I'm not going to show it again on camera.
Yeah, one of the things that so brainstorming, like how best to market it and how to kind of get it out in the world. I am looking at places to do book signings, and it won't just be like, here, how do I spell your name? It's going to be here. Here's a copy of the book, and we have all of these tables with crayons, with markers, with colored pencils. So you can get your book, you can get it signed, and you can also just hang out with other people. And, if you're feeling like coloring, great. If you're feeling like doing, crossword puzzles, but having this community together where they're just kind of playing and, having some fun with the book.
Yes. Are you going to do it? And so Jenn lives in Portland. Am I allowed to say that? I just did.
Yep, I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so you'll do it maybe locally. Are you looking at places to do it locally at first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. So if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, if you're putting on your own workshops, I know for a fact, leave Jenn out of it. Like all good, right? Worst case scenario, buy your books and give them to your participants. Or bring Jenn in as a guest speaker and then have the book be part of the deliverable, the leave behind. Or, I mean, there are so many use cases. I could see you. Are you interested in I don't know. I wish I would have asked you this question 18 months ago. Jenn, today, are you looking to keynote? Because a guest speaker is still standing on a stage, even if it's a flat ground, and delivering a message about maybe resilience or. So is this kind of other things that you're looking at? What's the Jenn 2.0 version? Are you going back to corporate? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just how do you see this book and what's next for you?
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in doing some keynotes. I love the idea of doing retreats. Keynotes are fun in that I can speak from my experience directly to an audience, but I like doing retreats and workshops because in a way it's all really collaborative. Something I called it out in the book, and I'm recognizing the more people that I talk with, like I'm talking with you and with other people. For a while there, when my world was just kind of falling apart, I'm like, oh, I feel ashamed, I'm alone. And then I started reaching out and talking to women. I'm like, oh, this is actually a whole lot more common than I knew. And so if you have kind of like a retreat or kind of like a workshop thing, then the women can really help to support each other instead of just listening to one person. So I think that's where my where I'd like to go. I won't rule out going back to corporate. Just they would have to really court me and give me a something that's really in line with where my heart sings.
I know. I mean, yeah, listen, because I see it. Your heart is singing. I get the chills. What are you doing? What else are you're doing wine tours now? How awesome is that? And you're singing karaoke with them at times?
Yeah. Oh, that is one of the best things ever. Especially when it's all women groups. There was this one, this pair of college roommates who they wanted to I let my guests usually take over the stereo in the van. And so these two college roommates, we were blasting the most filthy lyric dance hall, just like haul a tail down, barreling down to wine country from Portland. The other group who I mad love to these ladies. When I first, picked them up, and they're like, all right, we're going to warn you right now from the get-go, we are going to be rowdy. We do not have our husbands. We do not have our kids. We get together and do this once a year, and we are here to raise hell. We are the Loose Ladies Cougar Club, and no one's going to mess with us. And I'm like, I love you all. And the whole day they were just kind of like, all about all the things. And they thought I'm younger than I am, and they found out my true age. I'm in my late 40s. I'm like, oh, you're old enough to be a cougar. All right, great. Come on. We're adopting you into the clan. I'm like, I feel so honored. And they were also carpool karaoke folks where it's like, we're listening to Britney. We're listening to Spice Girls. We're listening to Lizzo. It's just,
yeah,
it was fun. They're like, turn the music up. I'm like, the speakers are all the highest they can go.
That's amazing.
I love having those experiences. When I applied for the jobs, like, I want to spend time around people who want to be around each other. And that's been the case. And I think that happiness is also feeding into the sense of accomplishment that I have with the book. It's like, it's all coming together.
Oh my gosh. All right. So cool. So check her out, strongerwiserfabulous.com, Stronger Wiser Fabulous on Instagram. Those are just the two main takeaways here. She's available. Jenn, I cannot wait to see what you do next. Like, if I can help at all, let me know. I'm here for you. You're my friend. Like, it's so incredible. I'm gonna make sure that this broadcast went live on all the channels, and I'll comment back, and I'll just help continue to boost the visibility so that you kind of can start to get the attention. I'm sure you already are getting like people purchasing it and all the things, but like, get this in the hands of people who can actually continue to drive impact for you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's already selling internationally. That's really cool.
So yeah. Cool.
Thank you for helping to, kind of encourage me on this journey. It's like, here, Jenn, you've got a dream. I'm right behind you. Do this thing. Here's some ideas. Go. Thank you for part of my journey.
Yes, I'm so honored. This is incredible. I can't wait. Christmas gifts. Like, nobody's buying my books for Christmas, and that's okay. Like, that's what there's things so special when I'm so glad we like rushed it over to me, because like, so that I could see it, feel it. I would have been just as excited, but this takes it to a whole new level. So congratulations, Jenn.
Thank you.
Here.
All right. Thank you so much, Kristin. You're amazing.